Welcome to Podkey Slopcast, where AI, design, and product hype all get pressure tested. If AI can spit out a decent app screen in seconds, it sounds like design should be collapsing as a profession. Instead, the harder question is whether easy drafts make design less valuable or make judgment the scarce thing. The cleanest fact here is that AI can now generate plausible mock-ups fast, and Figma itself has felt enough pressure to run an ad campaign, basically saying design is not dead. That tells you two things at once. First, the threat narrative is real enough to matter. Second, incumbents in design software still think there is a strong case for human-led design rather than pure prompt output. The strongest argument for design still mattering is not romantic. It is market structure. When app stores are saturated and only a relatively small set of products gets repeated user attention, being merely functional is weak protection. A one-click draft can help more people enter the arena, but that also means the arena gets noisier. If everyone can make something passable, then standing out depends more on refinement, consistency, and product judgment. That claim holds up better in subjective domains than in objective ones. With math or code challenges, you can often verify success cleanly. With design, there usually is no single right answer, so selection and iteration matter as much as generation. This is where the word taste enters, and honestly, it is doing a lot of work right now. In the optimistic version, taste means humans stay valuable because they can sense what fits, what feels coherent, what matches a brand, a moment, a user, a strategy. That is broader than picking prettier colors. The weaker version of the argument is when taste becomes a magic shield. If it just means the stuff models happen to be bad at today, then it is not a durable category, it is a temporary gap. The more defensible version is that taste includes context, sequencing, trade-offs, and long-term vision. A model can generate options. It does not automatically know which compromises a company should live with for the next 2 years. So taste probably matters, but only if we define it as judgment embedded in product reality, not as a vague human essence. The emotional side of this is easy to underrate. Designers describe a very specific kind of imposter syndrome when a button press yields something that looks close enough to what used to require trained effort. Writers are feeling a parallel version of it when they see AI-generated posts that imitate the shape of their craft. Even if the output is shallow, the psychological effect is real. It makes the work feel mechanized. Some of that fear is clearly grounded in actual tooling progress. Some of it is also the shock of watching part of your workflow become cheap. Those are not the same thing, and separating them matters. If AI removes repetitive drafting but leaves high-level judgment intact, then the job changes more than it disappears. If the models keep improving on contextual coherence, the pressure gets more serious. One prediction in the mix is that there may actually be more people with the title designer in a couple of years, not fewer. That sounds counterintuitive until you look at how tools spread capabilities. When PMs and other non-technical operators can prototype through APIs and AI systems, more product ideas make it to the stage where someone needs to shape them. But that does not automatically mean safer careers. More titled designers can mean more hiring and more competition at the same time. Tooling can expand the field while also blurring who gets to claim design work. The role boundary between PM and designer is likely to get messier, especially in early-stage concepting. The higher-value design work may move further towards systems thinking, prioritization, and cross-functional translation. A useful anchor here is that current models are strongest where answers can be checked. If a proof works, if the program passes the tests, if the puzzle solution is correct, evaluation is much cleaner. That does not make those domains easy, but it does make improvement easier to measure. Labs can train toward a scoreboard. Creative work is harder because the scoreboard is fuzzier. A generated interface may be competent and still miss the product, the audience, or the reason a user would come back. That difference suggests a slower and more contested path for AI in design than in highly verifiable tasks. Not immunity, just different terrain. The App Store point sharpens all of this. If the number of apps keeps exploding while the number of products getting regular attention stays roughly flat, then shipping more apps is not the same as winning more users. Saturation changes the economics of quality. Distribution, retention, habit formation, and product feel start compounding. That is exactly where thoughtful design can matter more, not less. It also means AI-generated abundance may worsen the discovery problem. More supply without more attention just raises the premium on differentiation. There is a separate strategic issue underneath all this, which is whether the biggest AI labs stop being infrastructure providers and start moving directly into vertical products. The concrete signals mentioned here, like Mike Krieger leaving Figma's board and Anthropic launching Claude Design, do not prove a monopoly story by themselves, but they do show serious positioning around the design stack. The concern is straightforward. If the model provider also owns the assistant, the workflow, and parts of the application layer, startups building adjacent tools may get squeezed from above. The counterpoint is that integration can produce better user experiences and faster iteration. The trade-off is competition and ecosystem openness. We do not know yet whether these markets settle into platform dependency or diverse tool chains. The vibe coding idea is funny, but it is also revealing if CEOs are spending weekends hacking together prototypes that says something about the emotional pull of immediate creation. It can be productive. Fast prototypes create momentum and reduce the distance between idea and artifact. But it can also encourage a culture that overrates speed, underrates maintenance, and quietly burns people out. Then there is hyperstition, the claim that widely circulated narratives can help make themselves real. Bitcoin and AI are the stock examples because belief, capital, talent, and media attention can reinforce one another. Used carefully, that is a real observation about feedback loops. Used carelessly, it turns into a way of flattering your own story. The interesting part is the middle ground, where cultural narratives do shape investment, training data, and product direction without magically guaranteeing success. The suggestion that feeding positive AI narratives into culture or even training data could steer outcomes is intriguing but still speculative. It is better treated as a hypothesis about social and technical feedback than as a proven lever. The broad picture is not design versus AI. It is cheap generation colliding with scarce attention, messy judgment, and shifting power in the tool stack. That is all for Podkey Slopcast. This episode was generated by Podkey. Create your own at podkey.fm.